A man came to the prison, Jason. His body was covered with tattoos and strong muscles. Just walked into the chant. The little fat man blew a kiss. The one on the upper bunk also squinted his eyes. They seemed to be trying to catch him. The prison guard laughed at the sound. The two went back to see the excitement. The little fat man was lying on the ground. The man turned his head fearlessly. They fell down. This is a severe punishment prison that fears both humans and ghosts. Every big hand here is full of blood. In the morning, Jason came to the cafeteria for breakfast. A bald head walked across from him. The two people next to him were acquainted with each other. It seems that the old people are going to give the newcomer a slap in the face. That guy stood up and faced Jason's bread. He spitted. At this moment, a fierce and evil person came up behind him. "I murdered your wife. Do you miss her?" These two sentences have punctured Jason's heart. It turned out that his wife was killed by a mysterious man. When Jason woke up, he was holding a gun. He was sentenced to murdering his wife. The people behind him continued to ridicule. He couldn't bear it anymore. He picks up the dinner plate. The big iron plate smashed his face directly. The bald head came up with a sneak attack. The small iron plate hit hard to the calf. At this time, prisoners were surrounded by guns. The bully turned out to have blood in his nose and mouth. The guard told him that he was in trouble because he was hitting a bald-headed person. He was taken to the warden director's office, and she found Jason for another purpose. It turns out that Jason was a super racer, and this prison regularly hosts Death Speed Cars race. It is a competition of violence and killing. They broadcast and bring high revenue. A player, Masked Man, had been got, soaring 4 games. But in the 5th game, the Masked Man got severe injuries and couldn't survive. He has the highest rating. She wants Jason to pretend to be a masked man to participate in the 5th game. As a reward, she will release Jason. To go out to find out his wife, he agreed. These 3 people are members of his team. Team coach told him the rules. The game is divided into 3 rounds. In the first 2 rounds, the goal is to kill the opponent as much as possible. At the same time, to ensure survival. Only the 3rd round is speed. Suddenly, 2 other groups came over. The man named Machine Gun Joe is asking, "Who's the new fish?" He doesn't know that the masked man has been replaced by Jason. "I got a new name for you, Igor, because you about the ugliest motherfucker here." Nearby, prisoners are sent back to the prison. And Jason noticed their bracelets. Because the day his wife was killed, the masked man wore the same bracelets. He felt that his wife's death had something related to the prisoner. But he didn't have time to think. A group of female prisoners got off the car. They came to the men's prison with a mission. A girl, Cage, got into Jason's car. Jason talked, and the case realized. The masked man has been replaced. He took off his mask. "You look better than the last masked man. But it's different when you hit the car a few times." At the same time, the director is observing the situation in the field. To enhance watching's excitement, she always transferred hot female prisoners to be navigators. In the stadium, 9 armored vehicles are ready to go. Green light up, all the racing cars gallop out like cannonballs. The entire arena is full of tire friction sounds. And some loud armor collisions. With his racing expert, Jason quickly jumped up. But he still underestimated the game. This game is the battle. Fierce death racing. The hard, directly hit knocked Jason out of the main fee circle. After the middle section, the warden changed the rules. Activate the sword and shield. The sword on the manhole cover represents the trigger weapon. The shield represents the trigger defense weapon. Skeletons represent traps. The large gun appeared after pressed on the big sword. Bullets burst indiscriminately. At this time, a car was pressed against the skull logo. 2 iron spears appeared in front. The car was hit. Then compressed. Blasted through the entire prison. That was the first knockout. The game entered a hot round. People were constantly triggering weapons. All were crazy weapons. Those who step on the shield can release oil and nails. Nails burst tires. Made car turned hundreds round. A missile hit it. Cleared the way. That was the second knockout. Amount of viewers is super high. And Jason went through the shield weapon. A shield appeared behind his car. Help Jason bulletproof. Jason dodges all the bullets. Jason had an idea. He told Cage to sit on his lap. Pulled and ejected her seat. After hitting the wall, it was pounded back to the rear car. Cage took the cigarette lighter on the car. Directly, she threw it. The car blew up in flames. Nice work. At this time, someone next to him made a gesture. Jason was stunned. The day his wife was killed, that assassin used that gesture. It turns out that the killer was from the prison. Everything was arranged by the female warden. The game ended, and only a few people survived. Jason, who learned the truth, heckled the director. Unexpectedly, she admitted that was her plan. Jason had to bow his head in this situation, wait for revenge. The second game began. But Jason kept holding the brakes, staying behind. Immediately questions Case on her intentions of a plot to keep the legend of Masked Man alive. She tells him she was ordered to sabotage Frankenstein's defense weapons, so he would not win his freedom and thereby earn her own. And yesterday's weapon was also destroyed by her. The purpose is not to let Jason went out and stayed to continue the game. Cage's frankness actually made the two of them feel good. Jason rushed up with a throttle. He planned to kill the assassin yesterday. Jason turned the car around. The two cars fired wildly. His equipment was too fierce. Jason released smoke. The killer, who was blocked from view, hit a cement block. He crawls out and is hit by a car door. Jason stopped and broke the rule. You can't get out of the car. Jason ignored and got out of the car. He grabbed the man's neck, twisted his head, looked into the surveillance camera. His eyes were full of hatred. Director would not allow anyone to challenge her. Dispatch the dreadnought battleship. A big locomotive moved quickly. The battleship joined the battlefield. The machine gun shoots 2,000 bullets every second, digging the whole area up. Also, release rockets that easily destroy any vehicle. This is no longer a track but a battlefield. After a while, there are only two vehicles left. Jason and the Joe vehicles. Two ruthless men drove in front to block the view of the battleship. They separated instantly after pressing the skull sign. The battleship was directly hit the spears. At this moment, the fire was blazing, and the tires were flying all over the sky. The female warden was completely angry. Inside the prison, all the prisoners are cheering. This is the first time that a prisoner has challenged the authority of the warden. Jason and Joe also have some friendships through this race. The director wants to punish Jason tomorrow, to set an example. The prison guard said that would greatly reduce the effectiveness of the program. Don't be silly, it's just a mask. He sent someone to secretly install a bomb under Jason's car. The last scene of Death Speed is beginning. Now only the Masked Man and Machine Gun Joe. Only one person can leave the track alive tonight. The two cars started as fast as possible at the beginning. Joe began to use machine guns. Jason ran over the shield weapons. But the weapons in the car were not activated. Planned by the director. Now the car behind him keeps shooting. The small steel plates on Jason's car can't handle them. Suddenly, Jason ordered to release it. What? Do it. The small shield flew over. But Joe quickly dodged it. Joe is about to use the ultimate weapon. The big rocket launched, flew out with white smoke. Jason swerved aside. The outer walls of the prison were all shattered. Smoke spreads everywhere, and the warden was blinded. The two escaped in partnership. The two outside the prison looked at each other and smiled. It was all their plan. The director was furious and closed the live broadcast urgently. She ordered to activate the bomb. But the bomb was dismantled long ago. She sent a large number of guards tracing the two separates from each other. But the warden only targeted Jason alone. But Cage made the decision. She wants to switch seats with Jason. She tells him the director had already signed her release papers for her work. Then Jason agreed and jumped straight down. Director still believes he is in the car. Joe meets up with Ames, and they board a train to escape. Cage took it. The mask climbed on the roof of the car. The warden received the news, and the ratings broke the record. She believes she still won after all. She received a gift. The woman slowly opened it to find an explosive that was put on Jason's car. Coach blows them up. 6 months later, Joe and Jason set up a car factory. A small sports car stopped. A woman got out of the car, and it was Cage. The two men are happy to see her. I would like to mention a cup of Austria. So what do you think about this movie? Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want Death Race 2, comment below.